Hi everyone, I'm so excited to share with you today's hack. Today's January 2nd. Yesterday everyone's receiving rent because rent is due on January 1st. I don't know about you, I receive quite a few rent checks because I have a couple of student rentals and then I have a few 2-unit legal secondary suite. So I have many sets of tenants, and sometimes people share the 1 unit together and they have 3 tenants. And so I have I counted, I think I have 20 or 30 tenants that I receive money from. And some of them is really small amount. When they send me the indirect transfer, it is a problem because I have to sit in front of the computer, keep depositing it to multiple bank accounts. I have one bank account for one property. So it is a time consuming, it can be a time consuming task, but to just turn on, sit there and deposit every single indirect e-transfer that I've received. So when my partner Joanne told me about her different little hack here, I was so impressed and I immediately start using it, and it was a life game changer for me. Now, if you are a Google Mail or Gmail user, this is for you. If let's say you have a handful of properties, in my example here, I use 4 properties. Let's say you have 4 properties and 4 bank accounts, each designated for each individual property. This is how this whole Google Mail indirect e-transfer auto deposit function can help you. So indirect e-transfer has something called auto deposit function available free of charge for you. Basically, what it means is that all the email money transfer being sent to a particular email, let's say in this example is John Smith Chen 1234 at gmail.com. I'm hoping that no one is using John Smith 1234 at gmail.com, but I'm sorry if you are. Please do not send anything to that email. But let's say John Smith Chen 1234 at gmail.com is the email address, and you turn on the auto deposit. What it means is that all the indirect e-transfer being sent to John Smith Chen 1234 at gmail.com is being deposited directly to the bank account that this John Smith Chen has set up. So this means that if you want to take advantage of this auto deposit function with indirect e-transfer, essentially when your tenant send you the rent on a monthly basis, the money can be deposited to one bank account, but not 4 different bank accounts. So if you have 4 different properties and 4 different bank accounts set up, this could be challenging. It could be a problem. Now, this is what I am facing on a monthly basis, and this is the little hack that we do. It turns out John Smith Chen 1234 and Google Mail, Gmail, has this function. The Gmail has the function that if you add a dot in this part if you add a dot in this part before the at, any dot before this part, before the at sign, you would be able to, the John Smith 1234 would still be receiving all the emails. So let's say John.Smith-Chen 1234. If you send an email to John.Smith-Chen 1234 at Gmail, the email address johnsmithchen 1234 at gmail.com would still receive all the email that you send to john.smithchen 1234. And this is the same for john.smith.chen 1234 at gmail.com. So all of these emails will go to the same email address as John Smith Chen 1234, or whoever owns these address. So they are equivalent to each other from a Gmail point of view. They are being routed to the same inbox. And just so you know, if you send an email to John Smith Chen 1234 at googlemail.com, a different extension here, it's also being routed to the same email address. All the emails still goes to John Smith Chen 1234. So Google ignore the dot in this portion of the email address. And Google also allows you to have a different email address called googlemail.com, and it still goes to the same email address as your initial johnsmithchan1234@gmail.com. So now you got variations of your email address. You got variations of the email address that you could use essentially to set up the auto deposits from Interact e-transfer. So now here is a system that I set up. So I would have John Smith Chan 1234 assigned for property 1, and I would turn on the auto deposit, enter this email address at gmail.com, and the money will then get, and I would assign the money that's being received at this John Smith Chan 1234@gmail.com to deposit to bank number 1, which is assigned to be used for property number 1's bank. And then I would give out the second email to my property number 2 tenants, John.Smith.Chan, the dots, don't forget the dot, Chan1234@gmail.com. And I give it to the property number 2 tenants. And I also set up the Interact e-transfer auto deposit function with this John.Smith, Chan1234@gmail.com. And this would allow me to deposit the money into bank number 2 for property number 2. Now, I would give the third email, john.smith.chan1234@gmail.com to property, I would to the property number 3's tenants, and I would also set up the auto deposit with this exact same email address that I gave to the tenants, and I would deposit it to bank number 3. And the last one, for my property number 4, I would set up John Smith Chan1234@googlemail.com, and it would and turn on. I would give this email address to the property number 4 tenants, and I would set up the Interact e-transfer auto deposit function with the exact same email address, and it would get deposited to bank number 4. And once you set that up correctly, obviously you need to properly document this whole system, which email address is for which property. Then you know every month you do not need to worry about sitting there in front of the computer, clicking log in, log out password to deposit it manually to each individual bank account. It also eliminates a lot of errors in terms of depositing. The key here is to give the proper bank account to the proper proper email address to the proper property tenants, and then you would be able to save yourself a ton of time sitting in front of the computer. Until next time, happy Canadian real estate investing.